I have a dream for delivering candy without having to do it myself. Sometimes that works better than others, but this year it worked out pretty well.
Let's see.
This is by far the most successful candy delivery device. For the last 2 Halloweens, I've been working on Portia, the candy-spewing spider. But after last Halloween, she sustained some very serious damage, and I had learned a lot of lessons, so I wanted to try making something better. Meet Señor Serpent. After 2 years of very wet Halloweens, I needed something waterproof, so I built a self-contained candy dispenser. I also wanted to keep it simple, an all-mechanical design that only dispensed one type of candy.
This whole design is based on the idea of a Pez dispenser, but we're going to take the Pez dispenser and we're going to turn it upside down, so that when you push on the bottom jaw of the snake, you'll get a piece of candy. We want to do something similar, except when we push this head and we push out, we want this one to fall free. We don't want you to have to pull the candy out of the back of the snake's mouth.
The idea is that we'll have boxes of nerds stacked on top of each other so that we can use gravity to push down on them and get the next one into the release mechanism. So we build a hopper that holds these in place and is hopefully easy to load. And then at the bottom, we need to have some kind of hinge mechanism that will turn and let the next one out. For example, this needs to be able to pivot like so and have this box of nerds go away. We need to be supporting the entire stack of nerds that's above this one. So we do that by putting a curve of constant width right here, or what's also known as a Rayleigh triangle, which of course was discovered by the only mathematician ever to discover things, Euler.
This part is really important because it's the key to the mechanism. So let's say that we have 2 boxes of nerds. We're going to use this, which is a solid of constant width, to simulate this. When the purple one starts to get moved away, we want to immediately support the pink one here, because the strawberry one supports the whole stack of nerds above it. If we let it fall, we won't be able to lift it again. So we want to support that weight immediately. So as soon as this purple one starts to slide out, we want our curve to pick up and hold the weight from the strawberry one, pushing the purple one out of the way. That way, when the purple one's gone, we can rotate back, and then once we're clear, this one strawberry one falls down and the whole stack falls down one position, and we can rotate again, pushing this one out and supporting the one above it with our curve.
So we started out with the first version of this and put it together. It was very Pez-like. It wasn't exactly what I wanted, but it did kind of work.
It's not over-engineered enough. What I want is when the door opens, I want the candy to come shooting out. Right now, what it does is just kind of come out a little bit. I think the problem is the location of the pivot. So we're going to work on moving that pivot forward to try to give it more oomph.
So after a little bit more engineering and some 3D printing, I managed to get something that was about what I want.
And here we go. Boom! So I got a giant roll of EVA foam. That's the stuff that people use to do cosplay and build armor and all kinds of things. It's kind of amazing stuff. I built some snake heads. Well, one snake head, one set of mouths to use. This was my practice one. The seams don't look great, etc. So that's fine. Then I made these, which are like ginormous. This could like totally be eating me. I mean, it's just an enormous snake. But now I have to figure out how to get what now looks like a little dinky, tiny candy dispenser into this. I don't know if this is gonna work. I got no idea. I have no idea if this is gonna work. Why am I putting so much candy in it? Because I have high hopes that it's gonna work. Ah! Oh my God. Oh my God, it's so good. It's so good. This has turned out really great. The idea is that this protects the Pez, or the nerds, I should say, and the bottom jaw slides out so that you can load it up, and then slides back in to lock in place, and then it's ready to dispense more candy. One mouthful at a time. So now we've got some finishing to do. We got to make this look like a snake. Get some fangs and do some painting, some eyeballs, and then we're gonna have a giant snake.
At this point, the painting began. And then there was some more painting. And then there was some stuffing into a giant sock. And then there was some more painting. I didn't know there was going to be so much painting.
I'm working on the snake, the body of the snake now, the snake body. It's going to be made out of this HVAC ducting, which I have quite a bit of. I'm going to put this batting on the top of it so that it kind of smooths it out. The top of the snake is going to be a little bit smoother than the bottom of the snake. A lot of snakes have ribs, kind of like a real snake does. And then I'm going to stretch this fabric over it.
This is a lot of freaking work. Wonder what the world record is for the longest sock put onto an HVAC duct. I miscalculated exactly how much the fabric needed to stretch. I knew that it was going to get shorter because I had to stretch it out to fit over the HVAC duct. I didn't know that it was going to get half as long as it was supposed to be, so I ended up using duct tape to cover the rest of it. I used that old saying, red and yellow kill a fellow, red and black friend of Jack. I wanted it to be as scary as possible. So I'm at the hardware store and I'm looking for some weights to push the boxes of nerds down in the dispenser. And so I describe that I'm looking for some weights. And the guy says, no, I don't think we have any weights. The best I can think of is like a big nut. They're over there. Went looking, and one of the other guys at the hardware store walks up and says, you going fishing? And I'm like, yeah, for trick-or-treaters. And now we're painting again.
I feel like now's about the time I should probably admit that I don't actually know how to paint things.
But the painting did eventually come to an end, and I could get back to some engineering.
I built this bracket, which is going to connect the fence to the candy dispenser, but it wouldn't print. It was too big to fit on my 3D printer, so I cut it. But somebody who cut this decided to cut it so that the space to drop the little hex nuts is right in between the two lines. So it's not actually going to hold it together at all. So I went and got some long screws and some washers and some wing nuts, and now we're gonna just try putting it together like that. It's loaded up now. It's got candy in it. We're gonna close it up and we're gonna see if it works.
Have you not tested it? Oops.
This is the first time it's actually been tried fully integrated like this. I don't know.
And next up is arranging a giant amount of snake onto the fence.
I have like, I don't know, 20 feet of snake. mean, it's pretty cool. I don't know. It's pretty cool.
Once it was all set up, I got this really cool shot that lets you see the mechanism really ejecting each box of nerds. This is all really cool, but it's time to show some trick-or-treaters now.
I think the last one was a little better. I think the spider was way better.
You think the spider was better?
What can I say? It's good to have fans.
Pull down on this thing like this.
Yeah.
Ah!
There you go.
Oh, goodness. Oh. And the tube is just for add the tail.
No, yeah, you gotta let it go all the way up and then let it go again. It only does one at a time. I think our house is just not well positioned to get a lot of trick-or-treaters. It's right next to a busy street, hence all the background car noise all of the time. I think next year we'll make a giant flashing sign that says candy here, maybe a total counter for the total number of boxes of nerds that have been dispensed. And if I can get it out there a few weeks early, and not just a few days early, then maybe we can rally the troops and really move a lot of candy next year. One side effect of building a candy dispenser that dispenses nerds, other than having disgruntled cats about not being able to go into my office while I'm working on it, is that the candy comes in a variety pack, and the rest of the nerds might get eaten.